Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make dynamic grass inside Blender using the Cycles render engine. So let's get started. So let's open up the Blender engine. I have the 4.3 version. In case if you have any other version above 3 would work, do the job fine. You can either use 3, 3.7, 4.1, 4.2, anything might work. So let's start your Blender. I'll be using the 4.3. Okay, the interface is here. This is the viewport, and this is the properties tab, and the scene collection, and the timeline. So this will be like a grass tutorial, not a beginner's tutorial. So I'll be pressing general because I need a new file, and general, create a plane to act as an emitter. Will be emitting hair particle system from the plane, so the grass will be emitted from those hairs. So we need a mesh plane, or you can come here and add mesh and plane. So I'll be using Shift A, mesh and plane. You need to press Shift A. The shortcut is Shift A. So we have the plane here. Now come to here. This is a render. You'll see a small written render here, and come here. Make sure this is in cycles. By default it will be in EV, but we need to set it in cycles to make it work. So use in cycles and make the device in GPU compute. Let's enable denoise, keep it enabled. Keep the render max samples to around 140. It will do the job fine, because if you're using a 4K or 1080p, 140 samples is enough, more than enough. Most of the people even use 130, and I'm using 140. Okay, we have the render settings set up, and make sure this is film transparent. I'll show you later, but let's keep it unticked for now. Click on the plane and come to here on the particle system tab. Click here and you'll see a plus icon here. Click on that. So here's the emitter and the hair. So emitter, what does is takes an object and emits another object from it. I'll put in another tutorial on that. So this will be a grass tutorial, as I've said. And click on hair, and we can see a lot of hair particles in here. I'll click here and drag the mouse to left, or you can enter any of the values you like. Perfect. We need more quantity in numbers, so come here to the children section and set it to interpolate. So round, see the grass have increased. What this does is, children does is takes a root of one hair and extends another 2 or 3 more hairs from the same root. So here's display amount. You can increase up to 30 to 40. If you increase more, you can increase more, but it will definitely lag your PC and your project might crash and all loss of data. So with that reminds us we should save our data. To do that, come here to file and save, and just rename whatever you like. Let's make it grass tutorial 11111, anything, just in case you forget, you remember the name. Save Blender file, just remember the directory you have saved. And so I'll keep the display amount of this children around 30 and render amount to 100. When the project gets rendered, the amount will be more, the hair particles. So I don't need that much. I'll keep it to 50, I guess. And okay, the roughness. We will play around with the roughness after we set materials. Click on the plane and come to this materials tab. Materials tab, click on new. After you click on new, you'll see that yellow icon. So click on that. And we'll be using an image texture. So I went outside today evening and click a bunch of picture of grass outside my house. Image texture, what this does is takes the material of your picture and slaps it onto the CG object. Image texture, and open the image we've clicked it. Come to desktop where you have located the file. So I have located in tutorial and I've set the file here. This is the image, and you can see nothing because it's right now in viewport shading tab. So we need to go to render tab, where we can see the viewport render. So this is the wireframe mode, this is the viewport shading mode, this is the material mode. Here you can see the material. See, we're taking the pictures material and slapping into the hair, so it comes out like grass basically. It's easy, right? And come to here, render tab. Okay, we can see nothing because we don't have a proper lighting set here. We don't have a sun, we don't have a HDRI. So for this tutorial, I'm going to use an HDRI, not the sun from Blender. Because I need the proper environment and proper lighting, I'll be using an HDRI. So come to here, world properties, and click here. You'll see this yellow icon, same as the material where we have seen the yellow. So if you click this, after coming to the world properties, click on the yellow and come to environment texture. Yeah, so I'll show you where I've downloaded the HDRI. There's a lot of website, but most of the time I use this website called HDRI Heaven. So here you'll find a lot of free HDRIs, and you'll find everything set free. So for this project, I'll be using the greenery version. I don't need a room. If you have a setup of CG room, you can use the HDRI for room. And so I have the grass, so grass will be basically outside the house, and it will be okay, meadow. So I've already downloaded this HDRI. You can download it from here. It's directly, if you click here 4K download, it will be downloaded. So I don't need to download, I have already downloaded. Open. So locate your folder where you have downloaded and saved. I've saved the HDRI here, and this is the meadow. I'll double click, and yeah, see, it already looks better, but not yet, because our grass don't look like grass right now. It looks like some kind of throne. To fix that, we need to play around with hair particle systems. So click on the plane and come back to particle step. After you click particle step, come back here and come to roughness. We need to play around with roughness to get the perfect grass. Okay, I'll change the uniform a bit. You'll see there's slightly bending here, and we can change the end points. See, it's already somewhat looking like grass, and let's change the size and randomize it. I don't know if you've seen in the meadows, the grass is not perfectly in the same position straight high. Some are up, some are down. So to do that, to fix that, we need to go to the particle step. We need to edit the hair so we can find different layers of grasses. Click on the plane and come here to object, or you can press Ctrl tab and come to particle tab, or just simply go here. Here's the hair. We can see the bones of the hair. We need to randomize the ups and downs of the hair. So here are options. We can comb the hair with this. See, we can comb the hair, and this is the smoothing. We can smooth out the hairs, and we can add more hair with this property, add. So we don't need to do that. We already have more hair. We have added, and this is the length. We can increase the length of the hair. So, okay, and this is the puff. Makes hair stand up, okay. And we can cut hair. We can delete some of the hairs if we don't need. So I'll press Ctrl Z. I'll maintain it's what it is, and wait. These are different. Right now we need the comb tool. We need to comb those hairs. So I'll go to the left, -X, and comb a bit like this. Some are down. Come to the front. So how I did this is I pressed the apostrophe button, and yeah, that brings up the wheel here. The front, and okay, change and randomize it according to your liking. To see the result, we need to go back to object mode and see. So back to object mode, and here you can see some of them are randomized, and just play around. Okay, if you don't like the settings, you can play around and change to your liking. let's not make that much of a bending, it looks bad. And yeah, and back to object mode. And okay, not bad, right? It looks good, to be honest, in my opinion at least. You can do it, make your own changes. And at last we need to add physics to this hair, and to do that we need to enable hair dynamics we left above. So hair dynamics we can find on the particles tab, and here you can find hair dynamics. So click that, tick mark that, and drop down, and you'll find the quality of the hair, how it reacts to physics properties. I'll set it to 10 maybe. And this is the pin goal. Many of the people get confused, what is pin goal? So pin goal, if you comb your hair, let's set an example. So let me say I've combed my hair this way. So even if I move like this, the hair maintains its shape, it don't falls down. Or if you increase the pin goal, it will maintain more shape, it will not react to the properties of physics. So if I set this to 0.300, I like to keep not more not less. So if I play the animation, see, it's falling but it's maintaining slightly its shape, right? So next we need to add some wind. So to do that, shift A and press, come here, force field, and add wind. So this is the wind. And let's go back to solid viewport and bring this along x-axis, G to grab this wind, G to grab, and press X and move along this side, and R, Y, and 90 to rotate 90 degree. So yeah, we have this wind, and now we need to and come to physics tab and increase the strength by 2, I guess, and make the noise. So how the much you increase, there will be random movements of the grass by the force of wind, and I'll keep it to around 7, and let's play. Okay, you can see a random movement of the grass, and I think it's perfect. And we need to make some changes, I know, so it will not come perfect in the first try. And so we also can play around with the diameter. So this is very fat, I've never seen such fat grass. And click on the plane, come back to particles tab, and come to hair shape and change the diameter, I'd say. Okay, looks better, right? Like a tall grass. We can change the hair, left, right, front. Okay, we need to change the front a bit. Come back to particles and make this straight. Some down, but not all. Some down, not all. If you round the corners, it looks bad. And let's back to object mode, and okay, it's looking good. Now next is, if you want, the tutorial is almost done, but if you want, you can add a vase kind structure. I'll be adding a concrete structure like vase. So first I'll be making the film transparent, because we don't need to see the HDRI in this project. So come to this render view and come to film and make it transparent, so it's not visible. We need to add a camera. So let's add a camera, shift A and camera. So we cannot see the camera. This is the camera, and to bring the camera to your perspective, we can directly press the shortcut is Control, Alt and 0. See, it's easy, right? So the camera is right now in your perspective, and adjust it to your liking around axis. And yeah, now let's see in the render previews mode. Yeah, looks good, right? And let's now add a vase. So come back to solid mode. To bring this wheel, I'm pressing Z. Okay, if you get confused where are the shortcuts is pressing, I'm pressing Z for this wheel, and for the left right I'm pressing the apostrophe key. So solid, back to solid, and let's bring a plane right now. Shift A, mesh plane, and increase. Okay, I'll go back to X-ray mode. This is the X-ray mode, and you can see the bottom. Let's click the plane is already selected, and come to edit mode, and you can see these vertices, edges, faces. So I'll press 2. If you press 2, you'll come to edge selection. If you 3, it's face selection. If 1, or you can hover your mouse over here and click on it. You can select from here. 1 to 3 is the shortcut. I press one of the edges by holding Alt, so all the edges will be selected. Now we need to extrude the edges, scale the edges, and along its axis. And okay, so after you extrude, and again E and bottom, so we have extruded. And let's exit X-ray mode, and you can see we've made some changes over here. So I'll be adding some materials to it. Let's get back to rendered mode and see how it looks. See, already looks better, right? So I'll be using some materials. Here I've downloaded many materials. You can download, and I'll put a link in the description. So I'll be using the material for this, maybe this brown tile or not. Let's use some gold. I think gold might look better. Let me apply these transforms first. Control A, all transform, apply. So if you apply the transforms, the UV map will show the perfect geometrical shaping of the photos or the structure material you have applied. So the gold don't look bad, right? It looks so good. Yeah, I'll keep this. And let's add another plane acting as ground. So Shift A and plane. Let's bring it to the bottom, and S to scale, S, and drag your mouse outwards. Yeah, let's fix that's the ground here. Okay, yeah. Ooh, not bad. Let's move the camera a bit back, and bottom, front, rotate, RX to rotate in x-axis, and see, it's already looking good. Let's make some changes here, or we can add the brown, maybe brown in the floor. Just drag and drop in the materials. Not bad, right? It looks good. And let's render it out and see. Okay, so to render, I hope the camera angle is perfect. I think it's perfect in my opinion. And come here. After you've added camera, only if you add camera it will be rendered or not. So remember to add your camera. I know most of you guys watching have already started Blender and knows the basics. I'm just explaining it for the beginners to not make any faults. I hope you understand, right? And come here if you want to render a particular frame, particular image. So this is a timeline. Get back to timeline from SS browser. So let's say if you want to render 120 frames, bring the timeline here and press render. It will render that particular frame. And let's render this image. Let's render the 0 frame. And render. Before you render, make sure that it's in. You have set the output properties where you want to save. If you render animation, I'd say. Come here to output port. I'll be making some changes before I render, of course, and I'll show you the final result. So click on here, render, and render image.